artillery, so the bombers didn't manage to do that much to them. And now BudLight is pushing through this middle forest where most of the engagements have been the whole game. And luckily German had managed to make a bunch of armored artillery as well, so he's shelling them the entire time that they're waltzing through the forest. And I had teched Pershings, thankfully, so I get out a couple of those and attempt to send out a decoy column to the left, hoping he'd fall for that, but it didn't really serve a whole lot of purpose, except for him to maybe think I had more Pershings than I actually did. But here you see somehow I'm managing to hold off this attack due to my Pershing's long range and his tanks just being enveloped by artillery fire and the Pershings, and I see that we're pushing them back, so I move in my Shermans from the right flank. So once again one of us managed to overextend himself, and the opponent, being myself this time, manages to push them back. So I put up an anti-tank base and start putting out some anti-tank guns, which will come into play later on. Basically seems on the left side of the field it's just turtling and some airplane skirmishes here and there. But I start pushing in on the right, trying to take out this lone Lee who's walking into the wrong side of the forest. I wanted to take out his armored recon so I could do surprise attacks from this forest, which was a huge factor in this game in my opinion. But his armored recon manages to get away for the most part, at least from the tank I'd had going after it. But here I'm just moving in my forces to try and take back the lost ground. I'm moving up my anti-tank guns to put in the forest and hopefully surprise attack any tank push he may have. I'm also making infantry to do the same thing. And dun 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 dun. BudLight is still sticking with his tank destroyer, but he's gone to infantry now. And I pop terror on him, and it's usually a good idea because it will at least make your opponent waste a RUSE card on fanaticism to counteract the terror card. So even if it counteracts it, you at least make him waste a card that he could have used on something else. And if you put terror on and he puts fanaticism on, but you still have another card, then it really helps. So here I am, I've put my anti-tank guns in very good positions in the woods here, and his infantry is just getting slaughtered from various directions because he does not have sight, I believe. He doesn't have armored recon to see for the forest, so that was really good. Here I try and move in my infantry to take out the tank destroyers on the left because they can't fire at infantry, which somewhat worked, but I ended up losing a lot of infantry to long-range artillery and airplanes. And we've reached half of battle time. Here I pushed up and took out, I think it was an artillery factory, something of that sort. And I'm continuing to push forward with my Pershings and Shermans, as well as infantry. I move my anti-tank guns up on the right side just in case I get pushed back again, attempting to learn from my previous mistakes, though I still overextend myself. Thankfully my anti-tank guns managed to just wreck his tanks coming around this corner, which was really good. On the left side, we still don't have a whole lot of action. There's a bunch of burned out woods, so I guess bombings have been going on. Z German providing lots of air support to keep Joker's planes off of me while I advance forward steadily. And here is probably the end of the game, basically coming up. If you ever get infantry and are able to capture a barracks, the first thing you should do is just spam as many infantry units as you can from that barracks. Because usually, from what I've seen, many people clump their buildings together, and I think that's a huge mistake by people. Clumping some units or buildings together is a good thing, but always try and keep your barracks kind of away from the rest of your buildings, otherwise this will happen, where you just send out a bunch of units from a captured barracks and manage to capture all the rest of the buildings. So I managed to capture his barracks, his anti-tank base, and his armor base. And now I'm just sending in the rest of my infantry to capture the buildings on the left. So, it was a very intense game for most of the tank battles in the middle here. You can see like all the various wrecks of the vehicles. But BudLight surrenders after I capture his headquarters on the far right, and Jokerguy soon follows afterwards. But this was a very intense game that made me remember why I enjoy playing RUSE. And so far I've had a very positive experience with the beta, so I would highly encourage everyone to download it for the free weekend preview, which will last from today, Thursday, the 15th I believe, until Sunday this week, the end of this weekend. So if you haven't already, go out, preload, download it, come online and enjoy. Alright, this is Battitz, having brought you another replay. Please leave any questions, comments, concerns in comments. Thank you.